Hello, hello. So, yesterday we talked about losing your soul, or the story of me feeling like I had lost myself. So, today I want to talk about. Let me just turn this fan off. Today I want to talk about what to do about that. If you find yourself in a place where you don't feel like you are connecting to yourself, or maybe you've lost your soul, you're not feeling good about where you're at, it's important to realize that you are responsible for you. Nobody else is going to come in and save you. I remember walking on the bridge uh, a while back, and there was this homeless person who was always kind of sitting on this bench, totally like baked out of his mind, just like super out of it. And I always felt like I wanted to talk to him, but the one time I tried, it just didn't go well. Like, he basically just wanted money from me or whatever. So he wasn't even coherent. But if I would have had like a lucid moment to talk to him, I would have tried asking him, like, you know, what's preventing him from just like taking his life into his own hands and changing it and like doing something with it, because this is the only life we have, and it's sort of a life that's fleeting and goes by quickly. The older you get, the more you realize time is relatively short, and we need to live it. We need to take a hold of it. Things don't usually just happen for us. Like, we have to actually get up and do something. Uh, Something I've always said in the past is the perfect place to live is where you are. You just have to get up and make it perfect. Because I am all I have. You are all you have. We can't sit around and wait for other people to create our destiny for us. And I think that the problem I was having back when I was having problems like that was that I was letting the world shape and define what my life was going to be. Until finally one day I realized, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to let that happen. I'm not going to let life control my destiny. I'm going to take matters into my own hands, and I'm going to shape what I have left. I'm going to go after what I want and make this life meaningful to me. So, just realize you are all you have. I think a lot about what people are striving for in this life, and it seems like, just in my humble opinion, like a lot of people are living a life that's out of their control, that's not being shaped by their passions or their desires. It's just they're going through the motions. They're living for, I don't even really get it. They're just trying to survive. They're just trying to make it. They've got all this stuff they don't need, big houses that they're busy working to maintain, and it's just like they're a cog in this wheel of culture that seems like it goes nowhere. And that just, to me, seems so meaningless. It seems like such a waste of life. And I decided I didn't want that. So I was working X-ray at the time, feeling that way, just burnt out, feeling so like my life had just become so meaningless at the time. And I ran into something online. It was a book club. The book was called Breaking Normal, written by Daniel Eisenman. And at the time, it was like really appealing to me to understand what he was going to be writing about in this book, because he was talking about community, he was talking about real relationships, breaking out of your comfort zone, breaking out of the matrix, doing what you love and never having to work another day in your life. I was inspired by those messages, and it really got me thinking. And the first thing that I really was contemplating was, what do I want to do for work? And so I feel like there's like this two-sided coin when it comes to work. First, how much do we really need? And one of the videos that I want to put together in the future is going to address that subject. So I'm just going to skip over it right now, but I think it's important to minimize what our real needs are so that we really don't have to work as much, firstly. But secondly, if we do need to earn income, what are the things that we could do that we would actually enjoy? How do we find a job that we actually love doing? Because if you do what you love, you will never work another day in your life. And I don't really consider myself lazy, but I do consider myself to value my time and to value my life. And I don't want to waste it doing a bunch of BS that I hate or that doesn't jive with my spirit. So that was the decision I made. I was like, no more of that. I have to break free from that. So I went out and I started a little store called Seed. And it was like this little bohemian gift shop. Some of you probably know about what I'm talking about. You were there, you came in. And that was my attempt to break free from like the rat race. And, it's not been like this perfect experiment. I ended up closing it after 3 years. But I look back at it and I think, man, that was really the beginning of this great kind of breaking free from the mold that I had found myself trapped in, or breaking free from the cage, maybe you could say, learning to soar. There has been a lot between now and then, but Seed was a part of it. That was like the beginning, the seed. And I think that's basically why I called it that. That was like the seed. That was the planting of myself, of my authenticity. And since then, I feel that it has grown from that little seed to now a sprouting phase where things are starting to come to life. I'm starting to see the beginning little like tendrils of life and greenness like sprouting up. And I anticipate that with cultivation and proper light and nutrition, that this little sprout is going to continue to grow and develop and become stronger. And I already see that that's happening. So I did this medicine card spread for metamorphosis. It was the butterfly spread. And the first card I pulled was the contrary whale card. That had to do with basically whale medicine is about community. It's about singing your song, all the stuff I talked about yesterday. So I thought it was interesting that I pulled the contrary whale, because the seed phase of my life feels like it was just this out of harmony sort of phase. The next card that represented like the larva phase or the sprout phase was the ant card. And I feel like I'm in that phase right now. The ant is all about community as well, but building and being patient and growing in community and creating structure, I guess you could say. So I've been really soaking up information. That was the community tour that I just made. Visiting these 15 communes has been about learning, looking to see what they're doing, just soaking everything up. And I've been reading and reading and reading and just kind of like putting myself out there, and I'm just like taking in so much information. It's all just building and nourishing and cultivating what's going on inside of me. So, you know, the quote that I've been thinking about so much is like another Bible quote: what does it profit a man if he gains the whole world but loses his own soul? And so for me, I have been putting all of my energy into the cultivation of my soul rather than building up some straw kingdom on this earth that's really just so meaningless and so unfulfilling and can take so much energy. Breaking free, because my freedom is the most important thing to me, my heart. It reminds me of a story about this dad and his kid who were out at the beach, and the kid is like pointing out into the ocean because there's a starfish just off the shore. And his dad is like, yeah, go get it, son. And so he's like, he runs out into the ocean and he wades into the deeper part to where this starfish is, and he looks down and he looks back at his dad, and his dad's like, get it. And he runs back up to the shore and he's like, Dad, that's starfish. And his dad's like, yeah, go get it. Why didn't you get it? And the son runs back out there, and again he just looks at the starfish, and he comes back in. His dad's like, son, what are you doing? Why don't you just get the starfish? And the son holds up his fist like this, and he opens them up, and he's got hands full of these shells that he collected. And he said, I can't. My hands are full of shells. And it's like, you know, our souls are represented by that starfish. And our souls and our freedom and living authentically is what really matters. That is all that's really important in this life. And we let these hands full of shells, all of these other things that we're holding on to, that we're clinging so tightly to, that so often are just smoke and mirrors. They're just things that don't even matter. But yet we can't pick up and nurture that one thing that's of supreme importance, because we're unable to like let go of all of this other shit that just weighs us down. We're so afraid to break free from the culture that we've been brainwashed to think is our only option. And so we go into it full force, getting the house, getting the frickin' fancy ass cars, spending all this money on new furniture and renovations and bullshit that we don't need at all, only to find ourselves stuck in debt, weighed down with school loans because we went after some stupid ass career to pay for it all. Now we're just locked in. And it's like, how do we even start? How do we even break free from all that, even if we wanted to? And most people don't even want to, because they're like, in denial that it's even possible. So they just keep treading the treadmill their whole lives, wasting their life because they're living a lie and they're believing a lie. And they are rationalizing that lie because they're so far in. But let me say, for me, I couldn't do it. Couldn't do it anymore. So I just said enough. And I just started to turn my back. And I started to decide that my destiny is my own to create. Nobody's going to do it for me. I'm going to do it for me. And that's what got me started. And that's the FSB process. Fucking spiritual, brah. That's what we're going to talk about. And I want to talk a lot more about that journey with you and what has happened to me since I took those beginning steps. There's just so much. It's coming. I'm about a minute over, so I'm going to close it up for today, and we'll talk again maybe tomorrow or the next day, whatever. Talk to you later.